I'm a pastor, really a missionary is the way I describe myself, of a small group of people in Keller, Texas. The name of our church is Come and See, and we're here to tell people about Jesus in the North American culture of the 21st century. We picked Keller in part because of the demographics. This is a global mission project at Texas Conference and the Southwestern Union, and Tom Evans, the church planting coordinator, thought Keller would be a good place because of the demographic area. Our target audience are echo boomers. Another name for them is millennials, people born between 82 and 2001. And 85% of the population of Keller consists of echo boomers and their families. So for the demographic purposes, it was a good place to come. Also, there isn't another Adventist church within at least a 30-minute radius, if not farther, of this area. And we live in the metroplex of Dallas and Fort Worth. It's one of the fifth largest metropolitan area in the United States. So for a large metropolitan area, that's a dark area for Adventism. And so we came, and this is something I wanted to do from when I was 16, was move to a place and tell people that God loved them, because I believed then and I believe now that if people only knew how much God loved them, they couldn't help but love Him back. I think one of the most interesting stories is when Nadine was in a car on the ride to the hospital because she had called the police because she was wanting to take her life. And I was out of town, I was on vacation, and so she called the police and they were taking her to the hospital. When the police officer was talking to her in the back seat, she started telling him about Come and See, and she told him that it was the only thing that she has. And as a result of that, the police officer and his wife are now attending church as a result of him giving her a ride to the hospital when she was going to commit suicide. Now, that is awesome to me, because Paul says that in our weakness we're strong, and to me that's a prime example, because Nadine was so weak and Jesus used her to bring another person to Him. In John 6, the disciple John, who's known as the Apostle John, who some of us know as Saint John, he talks about Jesus as the bread of life. Your ancestors ate the manna in the wilderness, yet they died. But here is the bread that comes down from heaven, which people may eat and not die. And Nadine's going to talk in a little bit, and she's going to talk about what some people think it looks like to follow Jesus. And then she's going to share with you what she's found as she's been here and she's been learning how to die with Jesus. Now, that doesn't mean that she has it all figured out, because she'll be the first person to tell you that she doesn't. But it does mean that she's living life as an active disciple.
I always had this idea that you had to do something. You had to do a job, or you had to go to a certain school, or you had to, treat people a certain way in order to be happy. But just like God is, I am. I don't have to dress up. I don't have to smile the right places. I don't have to say the right things. I just have to be in connection and relationship with God.
I can't ever see myself doing anything else, because I love living with people that don't know Jesus. And I love teaching people that have met Him how to live with people that don't know Jesus. But if it hadn't been through the difficulty of planting this church, and financial difficulty and resource, lack of resources, I wouldn't have had to just trust God for everything. And trusting God for everything takes you totally away from yourself. And when you don't rely on yourself anymore, then there's power, because like Nadine, when you're weak, you're strong.